Okay, so we're diving into OpenAI today.
Okay.
So it seems like everybody's talking about OpenAI and the leadership shakeups.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting times, I think, for OpenAI.
Yeah,
They're at a pivotal point, and I think all eyes are on them to see what they do.
definitely. And I think the biggest news lately is that Mira Murati, their CTO, is leaving.
Yeah, after 6.5 years, no less.
Right, and this is after she, is instrumental in developing ChatGPT and DALL-E.
Yeah, I mean, those are the two of the biggest things that have happened in AI in the
Hmm.
last couple of years.
Right, exactly. So it makes you wonder what's going on over there.
Right. Is this just like a normal, departure,
Yeah.
or is there something bigger going on?
Yeah, like, are we going to find out that, there's some big scandal brewing?
Right, exactly.
Or is this just kind of a natural progression for her and for OpenAI?
Yeah, or is this, a difference of opinion in terms of where AI should go and
Yeah.
what the next step should be?
Right, because this also comes after a string of other high-profile departures, too, like
Yeah.
Ilya Sutskever, who was one of the co-founders,
Yeah.
and then Jan Lake, who was one of the leading voices in AI safety.
Right, and he left to go work on his own AI safety startup.
Yeah, so it's interesting that all these people are kind of jumping ship at the same time.
Yeah, it's definitely a time of flux over there.
And then there's the whole thing where last November, Sam Altman temporarily stepped down, and Mira Murati was the CEO for a hot minute.
Yeah, that's right.
So she's been at the center of all of this.
Yeah.
All the AI breakthroughs and also all of the controversies.
Right? I mean, she was really thrust into the limelight,
Yeah.
and then it kind of thrust back out again. So who knows what happened there?
Right. And that, I think, is part of what makes this whole thing so intriguing, is that we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes.
Exactly.
And so now the question is, who's going to fill her shoes?
Right. Who's going to be the next CTO of OpenAI?
Right. And what does that mean for the future of OpenAI?
Right, because that's really what it comes down to.
Right.
What direction are they going to go in?
Right. Are they going to focus more on AI safety?
Yeah.
Or are they going to double down and
Right.
push the boundaries even further?
Exactly. Are we going to see ChatGPT 5 next week, or are they going to
Yeah.
put the brakes a little bit?
Well, and so far, OpenAI is being very tight-lipped about who the successor is going to be.
Yeah, they haven't given us much to go on.
Right. But of course, that doesn't stop the rumor mill.
Of course not.
So let's dive into some of the names that are being thrown around.
Okay, sounds good.
So internally, there's people like Jason Wei, who is known for his work on AI models and safety.
Okay.
There's Lillian Wang, who has a strong background in AI ethics. And then there's even rumors that Dario Amodei, who was a former VP of research, might come back.
A blast from the past.
Yeah, exactly. So each of those internal candidates kind of brings their own strengths and weaknesses to the table.
Yeah, for sure.
Like Jason Wei, I mean, obviously he's very strong on the safety side.
Right.
But will that stifle innovation?
That's the big question.
Right.
Because, I mean, OpenAI's whole thing has been pushing the boundaries. So if you have somebody who's very risk averse, is that going to slow them down?
Right. Is it going to make it harder for them to compete with
Exactly.
Google
Yeah.
and all these other companies?
Especially as these other companies are also kind of
Right.
beefing up their
Yeah.
AI departments.
And then with Lillian Wang,
Yeah.
I mean, she's obviously very strong on the ethics side, which is something that I think a lot of people are concerned about.
Yeah.
But again, is that going to slow them down? Is that going to
Yeah.
make them less competitive?
Right. Because, I mean, there's a lot of concern about,
Yeah.
the ethical implications of AI.
Right.
And if you have somebody who's very focused on that,
Yeah.
is that going to make it harder for them to,
Right.
to innovate?
Right. And then you've got Dario Amodei, who's kind of a wild card because he left to found Anthropic,
Right.
which is a direct competitor.
Yeah.
So would he come back? I mean, would that even be on the table?
Yeah, that would be very interesting.
Right. And if he did come back, what would that mean?
Yeah.
Would he try to merge Anthropic with OpenAI?
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
Yeah, it would be very interesting.
And then on top of all that, there's a bunch of external candidates that are being thrown around.
Right.
Like big names like Fei-Fei Li from Stanford's AI lab
Okay.
and Andrew Ng,
Oh, wow.
who's the co-founder of Coursera.
Yeah.
And then even Jan LeCun, who's a deep learning pioneer,
Okay.
who's currently at Facebook.
Interesting.
So you've got all these different people with all these different backgrounds, and
Yeah.
it's kind of anyone's guess who it's going to be.
It's like they're picking from a hat full of the biggest names in AI.
It's like a fantasy football draft
Exactly.
for AI leadership.
That's a good way to put it.
So what do you think?
Yeah.
What's your take on all this?
Well, I think it's going to be really interesting to see who they pick.
Right.
Because I think it's going to tell us a lot about
Yeah.
where OpenAI is going in the
Yes.
future.
It's crazy to think about, right, whoever steps into this role is going to be responsible for navigating like all these different currents and pressures.
Absolutely. And not just the internal pressures from the research teams and the engineers, but also the external pressures from investors.
Yeah, because we haven't even talked about the fact that OpenAI is currently in talks for like a massive funding round.
Huge. I mean, we're talking about potentially Microsoft, NVIDIA, Apple.
Yeah.
All these big names.
Wow.
Throwing their hats in the ring.
And it could value OpenAI at over $100 billion.
Yeah, $100 billion with a B.
Yeah, with a B? That's insane.
Yeah, so suddenly this CTO position is not just about, leading a research team.
Right.
It's about
steering $1 billion ship.
Exactly. And with all these investors breathing down your neck.
Right.
And
could you imagine the pressure?
And then on top of that, you've got people like Elon Musk.
Right.
Who are like watching from the sidelines.
Publicly criticizing you.
Yeah.
About how you're going to destroy the world with AI.
Yeah. And you're just like, oh my God.
So how do you balance all of that?
Right.
Like, how do you balance the need to innovate with the need to be responsible?
Right. Because you need to be able to go to these investors and say, hey, we're pushing the boundaries.
Right.
But we're also being safe.
Right.
We're not going to create Skynet here.
We're not going to destroy the world.
Exactly.
Right.
Please give us your money.
Right.
So it's a very delicate balance.
It is a delicate balance. And it really makes you wonder how these leadership changes, how this new CTO is going to affect the AI tools that we use every day.
Yeah, for sure. Because, I mean, let's say, for example, Lillian Wang gets the job.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And she's very focused on AI ethics.
Right.
What does that mean for ChatGPT?
Yeah. Are we going to see stricter content filters?
Yeah. Are we going to see, limitations on what it can generate?
Yeah. Like, are they going to make it harder to...
Right.
Write a screenplay.
Exactly. Or are they going to make it so that it refuses to write about certain topics?
Right. Are we going to see changes to how AI image generators work?
Right. Are they going to try to, eliminate bias from these models?
Yeah.
Are they going to make it harder to generate certain types of images?
It's like we're watching this game of chess play out in slow motion.
Yeah.
Where every move that OpenAI makes affects the entire AI landscape.
Right.
And then we have to figure out, okay, what does this mean for us?
Exactly. How do we adapt
to
this new reality?
Like, how do we adapt to this new AI-powered world?
Yeah, because it's changing so quickly.
It is, and it's only going to get faster.
Exactly.
And more complex.
Right. So buckle up.
Yeah.
It's going to be a wild ride.
It is, and I think that's a good place to pause for now.
Okay.
It really makes you think about how these decisions, they have like these ripple effects. We talk about AI as this big thing.
Yeah.
But it really comes down to like people making decisions.
Exactly. Individuals making choices.
And those choices affect all of us.
Like the butterfly effect. One small decision can have huge consequences.
Right. And it makes you wonder, what if OpenAI just like throws us a curveball?
Right.
What if they pick somebody that we're not even considering?
Exactly. What if they go completely off script?
Right. Like we've been talking about all these people with backgrounds in research and ethics and social media and all that.
Right.
But what if they bring in someone from like, I don't know, the government.
Okay.
Or from like the art world.
Interesting.
Somebody with like a completely different perspective.
Right. Someone who can really challenge our assumptions about what AI is and what it can be.
Like, what if they brought in, like, a philosopher?
Right, or like an ethicist.
Yeah.
Someone who's really thought deeply about the implications of AI.
Right, because I think that's something that we haven't really talked about that much, is like the philosophical implications of all of this.
Exactly. Like, what does it mean to be human in an age of AI?
Are we just going to become like these, pets of AI?
Are we going to be replaced by our own creations?
I mean, I don't know.
Big questions.
There are big questions, and I don't know if we have the answers.
Yeah, and I don't know if OpenAI has the answer.
Right. But I think it's important to at least be asking those questions.
Absolutely. We need to be having these conversations.
Right. And we need to be having them now.
Exactly. Because the future is closer than we think.
It is. It's right around the corner.
It's already here.
Yeah.
It's just not evenly distributed yet.
That's a good point.
So I think the big takeaway here is stay informed, stay engaged.
Stay curious.
Exactly, because the world of AI is only going to get
more interesting,
more complex, more challenging.
For everything.
Exactly.
Well, on that note,
Yeah.
I think we're going to wrap it up here.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks for joining me for this deep dive.
Yeah, this was fun.
It was, and thanks to all of you for listening.
See ya.
Until next time.